Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today has been a whirlwind of a day. Just wanted to give you an update on baby Nora and everything that's going on with her. If you guys haven't seen our first video, I'll put it in a card up in one of these corners so you can check it out. But basically, my wife is pregnant with our third kid. She is 31 weeks and 4 days today pregnant. And about a month and a half ago or so, we found out she has a pretty serious heart defect called an AVSD or an AV canal. And then about a month ago, we found out she probably has Down syndrome. So we've had a ton of appointments since then, and it's just been a whirlwind of emotions and feelings and plans and everything. So I just want to give you an update because a lot kind of has happened today. So today we had our one of our marathon appointment sets down at the Loma Linda Hospital in Redlands, which is the closest big large hospital. And basically we started off with a fetal echocardiogram from our pediatric cardiologist. It's a lot of words, holy cow. And they basically evaluated her heart, or the AVSD condition that she has. Basically what they're looking at is to see how the heart is growing in comparison to last time we were there. And what they're really concerned about is, in a heart, there's two sides. There's a right and a left side of the heart. And they want to make sure that they're growing the same, or what they call balanced. Because if they get imbalanced, and specifically the right side more often than not, gets larger than the left or grows imbalanced, it can cause all sorts of issues with blood flow and all sorts of things. Thankfully, ours is balanced. They had good news for that, so it's a stable condition. Now, either way, it's not a huge deal. All that really changes is when the surgery is going to happen, which is a pretty invasive open heart surgery with a heart bypass machine and everything, where they go in and replace the septum or the middle part of the heart and change the valves around. But basically, if it's imbalanced, they do the surgery in the first week of life. If it's balanced, they just have to do it within the first 6 months of life. So thankfully, we don't have to have that done right away, at least. So that was good news for the morning. Then we stepped into our anatomical ultrasound, or the ultrasound we do at our maternal family medicine clinic with our doctors. Here they check for growth rates and the umbilical and the placenta and see how it's growing and how the blood flow is going. So they basically found a couple of things. Basically 2 months ago, baby Nora was at the 36th percentile of height and weight, so size. 1 month ago, she was at the 11th percentile. And today she's between 1 and 8. And that's a typical sign of something you see in a kid with Down syndrome. So it goes to reinforce that fact. So that was kind of a big finding. And the other one was that the blood flow through the placenta and the umbilical to the baby is changing. And basically, in a kid with Down syndrome, you can see that because the placenta over time tends to age quicker, and it can actually stop and reverse the blood flow to the baby. And that's kind of what we're starting to see, is that the blood flow is starting to stop and stagnate a little bit, and eventually it's gonna reverse. And if it reverses, you need to have surgery right away to have the kid. So in our appointment today, basically, we found out that it's a fairly typical process, and it progresses pretty typically. And so we know that between today and December 19th, that we're going to have the baby. If nothing else, we will have it on December 19th. And that's just to prevent any issues with the blood flow to the baby, to give the baby the best chance at survival. Now, the problem with that is well, her due date's the end of January, and it is not the end of January. So she will be between 32 and 34 weeks preemie, which thankfully, according to the doctor, is not a huge deal. There's a very low likelihood that any complications could arise because of the preemie baby. Now, the only thing that could cause issues is that the last thing to really develop when baby is developing in a mama is the lungs. And so baby Nora's lungs aren't fully developed yet, which leads to the next issue that we had today. And that is they needed to give mama some steroids to help the baby's lungs progress a little bit faster and be ready when she gets born in the next couple of weeks. But the side effect is that these steroids can affect the heart of the baby. So mama has to get watched on a monitor 24/7 for 2 days after the shot. Clarissa got admitted to the hospital this afternoon, and I got home to get everything at the house ready for when the baby shows up. So it's been kind of a crazy time, and it's been a little bit stressful, and the biggest thing is we just don't know what we don't know yet. It's kind of going to be a weird couple of weeks, but we do know that the baby will be here in 2.5 weeks or less at some point. She does have to get seen twice a week on Mondays and Thursdays to just ensure that there's no issues with that blood flow in the placenta, and if there is, then she'll get born that day, basically. So we're kind of in a whirlwind of emotions and a lot of different things. The last thing I wanted to get at is, it's been super stressful here, but we're so thankful to have family and friends here that are super supportive and helpful. Our in-laws live right down the road from us, and they've been helpful. They're actually watching the kids right now, so I can get everything done here and get prepped and get the house ready in case Nora comes tomorrow. But we also have friends and very close friends, basically family, that are super supportive, of offered meals and grocery trips and, you know, whatever we need. And so that's been super helpful. And so I just wanted to encourage you guys, if you're going through this at some point in the future, or if you have or currently going through this, to really look to your friends and family and look to them for support, because they're going to be super helpful. They are going to get you through the tough times, whether that's emotionally, if you just need to talk, or if that is going to the grocery store for you. So really look to them and get support from them. And finally, but actually most importantly, is we are very much believers that God is here and present with us, and that He knows more about the situation than us, than the doctors, than anybody here. And so He knows, and He has placed Nora here for a very specific reason, even if we don't know what that is yet. And so we are trying to rely on Him and trusting Him that He knows what He's doing, and to rely on that. And that's taken a huge burden off of us in trying to worry or be anxious or anything. And so I want to encourage you guys that if you're going through this at some point in the future, that just to trust that God will provide, and He will take care of you, just like He's taking care of our little baby Nora right now. And whether that means that she stays with us her entire life or for not very long, we know that God is doing something, and is doing something through all of this. And we may or may not know what that is, but we know that there is some better good coming from all of it. And so just want to encourage you guys that if you're going through this, I know there's a lot of emotions. Heck, we've just started going through them. And just hang in there. Look to God, look to your friends, look to your family, and they will support you. And, you know, if I could ask anything of you guys, just say a prayer for us right now. It's been tough, and it's tough being here alone, just even getting stuff done at the house. So we will keep you guys updated as everything progresses, and try and talk you through everything to give some insight as to what we're going through, to hopefully help you guys or anyone else you know that's going through this as well. So thank you guys. We really appreciate it, and we'll talk to you guys soon.